What's up guys, Shane Starnes here with Droid Monorex, and there seems to be a controversy surrounding the Pixel 2 XL and the issues with its display. My buddy Jeff Springer put together a great video explaining all the issues with the display on the Pixel 2 XL. I'll be sure to include a link to that video below, but the question remains, are we seeing the same types of issues on the smaller version, the Pixel 2? We're gonna find out in this video. Let's go ahead and get started. We have the Pixel 2, the LG V30, and the Galaxy Note 8. I've got all three screens turned to max brightness with auto brightness turned off. So there were three main issues with the Pixel 2 XL screen. The first issue being that the display shows some banding, some graininess, and some blotchiness. So you get some unevenness in the lighting and colors. That we do see that for sure on the LG V30. So if we crank down the brightness on the LG V30 and we go to, say, the settings, it's really hard to see here in this lighting, but you can see kind of like a grid pattern underneath the content, and it's sort of annoying. You really will notice this if you are, say, in the bed at nighttime, you're looking at your phone. You'll definitely notice anytime you're in a dark room and you have your brightness turned down a little lower, even at half brightness, you'll begin to see some of that blotchiness and banding. We saw some of that to a much lesser extent with the Pixel 2 XL. The other main issue with the Pixel 2 XL was terrible viewing angle. So if you slightly adjust the angle of the Pixel 2 XL, you're getting more of a cooler color scheme, and it's kind of jarring whenever you're looking at it directly on it. You get one color scheme, then you slightly turn it and you're getting something totally different. The viewing angles were not so great on the Pixel 2 XL. The final problem is that Google has the color set up as sRGB. sRGB is basically a baseline for coloring, and it's pretty plain, it's pretty boring, and it's very muted. With sRGB, colors seem a bit washed out, so Google decided to make that the default, and there's no way to change that. And that's really what I'm mostly concerned with on the Pixel 2. So you'll see here, I have everything turned up to max brightness. Pixel 2 is max brightness, LG V30 we've got at max brightness, and the Galaxy Note 8 is set to max brightness. Auto brightness is turned off on all of these. We know that the Galaxy Note 8 can achieve up to 1000 nits with auto brightness turned on in direct sunlight. It can do even better than that. With auto brightness turned off and brightness set to max manually, the LG V30 actually seems a little bit brighter. We're getting closer to 500 nits on the V30 and close to 500 nits on the Note 8. You're gonna notice on the Pixel 2 that it doesn't get nearly as bright as the V30 or the Note 8. Max brightness on the Pixel 2 is closer to 400 nits. And that makes a big difference when you're out in daylight. It's a whole lot harder to see a phone where the max brightness is 400 versus over 1000 on the Note 8. As far as viewing angles are concerned, I'm not seeing anything much different on the Pixel 2 than what I see as far as distortion is concerned on the Galaxy Note 8. I mean, I'm really not seeing much of a difference there. To me, I'm not seeing enough distortion to make a difference. As far as I'm concerned, viewing angles seem to be just fine on the Pixel 2. All right, as far as banding is concerned, in low light, in low brightness mode, we're not getting any banding or blotchiness with the Pixel 2. This does not have the LG made display that we see on the Pixel 2 XL. It actually has an older Samsung display, which actually looks and feels higher end as far as defects are concerned. I'm not seeing the banding defects that you see in like the V30 or even the Pixel 2 XL. So that is not an issue on the Pixel 2. Really, my only concern with the Pixel 2 display has to be colors. And when you're used to oversaturated colors that pop on the Note 8, to me the colors are even more vibrant on the V30. The muted, more natural colors just seem a bit dull and washed out. Just like we saw with the Pixel 2 XL, we're seeing the same thing with the Pixel 2. Now you'll notice in the display settings, there is an option to turn on vivid colors, and that's set by default. So if we turn that off, you'll notice that the colors are even worse than they were before. So if we turn it back on, we'll go in here into our display in advanced, we'll turn vivid colors back on. You see that the colors are still muted, washed out. They just don't seem to pop like the colors that we get from the Note 8. So we'll do a side-by-side comparison here. This is with vivid colors turned on in the Pixel 2 and the normal color scheme with no changes made to the color on the Note 8. You can see that the colors are just much more vibrant and they just look more appealing to the eye. So that's the Note 8, and we'll compare them side by side with the V30. The V30 has the POLED display technology, similar to what we see on the Pixel 2 XL, but the colors still seem more saturated and more vivid on the V30 display when compared to the Pixel 2 display. In all, I have to say that the Pixel 2 still has a pretty decent display. If Google were to enable more customization with color options on this display, I would have no complaints whatsoever. It gets plenty bright for my eyes. The display is still plenty sharp, especially for the smaller screen size that we have here. And if we could just get more saturated colors, or at least have the option. Some people actually prefer the sRGB colors, and some people just prefer that more natural, muted color scheme. But if you're like me and you prefer a more saturated color scheme, then having the option to change it would be a huge benefit. As you can see, the issues with the Pixel 2 display are not nearly as scandalous as the issues that we had with the V30 and the Pixel 2 XL, but there still are some things that need to be improved on this display. Luckily for us, we should be able to get a software update to fix the color scheme on the Pixel 2, which is going to make the experience much better and much more enjoyable for my personal preferences at least. Let me know in the comments what you think below, which device has the best display and which device has the best coloring scheme. That about wraps it up for this video. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel for more content like this in the future. You can find more of me at droidmodderx.com. Follow me on Twitter at droidmodderx. Thanks guys for watching. Be blessed. I'll see you in the next one.